Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode number 7 of King City. Now, if you've not seen the previous 6 episodes I've made on this city, feel free to head over to my channel and take a look through them. Now, that being said, in the previous episodes, we were facing a lot of trouble with the traffic coming into the city from the original highway, and we basically went ahead and created this underground expressway from this area right here to the other side of the city. And honestly, so far it's been pretty good. We're not seeing that many traffic jams here anymore. As you can see, traffic is flowing freely, and it seemed to have worked out, at least for now. So that's been kind of a success here. That was the entrance to the expressway, and this is the exit for it. We basically kind of go underground through the main parts of the city, and even at this point we have a very good traffic flow, which is nice to see. So we just have to kind of see how this will kind of function as we keep on building. Now, when I first started building this city, we had basically zoned the waterfront for the industrial lands, and we kind of removed that around episode 3 or 4, and we were waiting this whole time for this area to clear out, and fortunately that's happened. As the game has kind of went on for some time, this area is now fully clear of any industrial waste. So I thought it would only be fair to go ahead and start developing this area. And first things first, we are removing that sewage from there. Now, I'm not exactly sure if we necessarily need to have like the physical sewage spilling onto the water, but I did remove it and it seems to be fine for now. I did make a mistake by removing the water pumps as well, but I ended up putting those back in again. Now, in terms of how I wanted this area to look, I wanted some sort of a boardwalk right by the water, and I went with the pedestrian only road that we have in the game, and I kind of just went along the border of the water. Now, this was kind of challenging, to be honest, and in terms of how satisfied I am with the result, it's kind of like a mixed feeling. I don't necessarily hate it, but it's not the best looking thing either. But I did try my best to just kind of go along the water and mimic the shape of the water, just to make sure we keep the natural look of how the water meets land in this area. Now, for the location and length of the boardwalk, I was kind of going in between the area that we initially started developing in the city. So towards the north of this area, you have all the buildings that we first kind of built in the game, and I just thought this would be a better location. And honestly, as soon as I put the industrial zoning here at the beginning of the game, I knew that I didn't want to keep it here, just because it was way too close to all the houses and apartments we have. Also, in a sense, I felt like we were wasting the land right by the water by giving it to all the industrial zoning. So I always had this area in mind for the waterfront, but obviously with the limitations you have once you start the game at the beginning with the limited amount of tiles, I was kind of forced to place all the industrial zoning here by the water, also because of the wind direction. But now that we were fully cleared in this area, I still thought it was the right location for kind of the main waterfront of the city to be. So this will kind of act as the main waterfront, at least for now at this stage of the game and where the city is. We might be looking into further expanding it in the future, But for now, I thought this would be a pretty good location. Now, after I got the overall shape of the walkway, I went in and tried to get the water to go all the way up to the walkway, just because that's what I had in mind. I wanted this walkway to be right along the water. But after doing this, what I thought would happen was I would have the concrete of the road or the walkway kind of pop up once you remove the land by the walkway. But that did not happen, and we just end up with kind of the land showing or the dirt along the walkway showing. So I'm not sure if that happens once you put a road by the water and then you have the concrete show from the side and not these walkways. I'm not too sure, to be honest, but I'd already went with the whole walkway and the shape of it, so I was kind of okay with it being this way as well. So I did leave it, but again, I went all along the water where we put the walkway down, and just made sure that the water goes all the way up to the path, as many cities have. I am also removing all the road network that we have here currently, just because again this was put down for the industrial zoning and not much thought, to be honest, was put into it. I just wanted it to be connected to the main road we have up there. So we're basically getting rid of the whole thing and putting down a new road network here. Okay, so now coming to public transit, I did want this area to be covered with some sort of transit, and I thought it would make sense to go ahead and put in the trams. We obviously don't have them anywhere else in the city, and I thought this would be a nice area served by the trams, just because I know a lot of waterfront communities in major cities around the world do have trams, so we will take inspiration from that and have the first trams of our city running through this area. Now, in terms of the route and how many lines we're going to have for our tram, we are going to keep it to one line for now, and the route's just going to be a simple loop by the waterfront, just because I find it kind of difficult to have the trams running in too many different locations. I just gotta find the right street for them, and that's kind of difficult in my head. since we have that kind of main street right there with so many different bus lines running through them anyway. So it wouldn't really make sense to have the trams running elsewhere in the city, at least for now, but we'll see in the future. That can change. But yeah, for now, it's just gonna be something for the waterfront neighborhood, and we are just going in with different connections from that main road we have up there into this new community. But I also wanted to emphasize the fact that this will be a walkable area, a walkable neighborhood, especially because we're right by the water. I don't necessarily want too many cars flowing through this area. And I did go in with quite a few pedestrian only streets in the area just because I didn't want, again, too many cars just going through the area. I feel like it just ruins the vibe. We are going in and putting trees basically on every single street and close to this walkway that we have here. I just want this area to be as green as possible, and honestly, the trees just make it look so much nicer, especially since we are very close to the water. So So as I said, I made a loop on either end of the line. We're just gonna have the trams basically circle around and make their way back. Now, as soon as I figure out the road network and road layout, I did start running the trams, even though we have no one basically living in this area as of now. And in terms of stop frequency, they are kind of frequent in comparison to the buses we have, but I do feel like trams do have more frequent stops. So that is what I'm doing, and we are soon going to be seeing the trams rolling out of the depot, which is pretty nice. Now, even towards the end of this episode, when this area is mostly built out, the trams aren't necessarily as successful as the buses. We only have a 28% usage, I think. But that's okay, that's fine. I still wanted the trams to run through this area. They just look pretty cool and bring a different vibe to the neighborhood. I also went ahead and created the first district in the city. I've just been kind of too lazy to go and create other districts. So also, I just don't know what to name them, to be honest. So feel free to help me with that. We just named this area Waterfront. How original. And we also banned any heavy trucks, I think. And we also put in speed bumps to make sure no one's going cuckoo in this area. We just want this to be a peaceful, calm area for everyone to walk around and enjoy. I also wanted the area to have some sort of a centerpiece that kind of attracts people to it. And I did end up going with the Ferris wheel because I thought it would fit in nicely with just the street layout here and all the walkable areas we have around this place. And I don't think it looks too bad, but we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. Everyone got pretty happy in the city, so that's good, right? I did not like how it kind of took away the trees I put there, but at least it's got a lot of trees itself in the area it has. And I think it looks good, to be honest. I think this would be a nice place to have this Ferris wheel, and you would perhaps get some pretty nice areas. I mean, views from the city. I also did try to kind of soften around the edges here because it did kind of dig into the ground, which obviously is not good. Um, but we have to kind of go with it. I do end up putting some trees around here just to cover the mess a little. And other than that, this is gonna set in terms of location. This is gonna be here for the rest of the game, basically. Now I did start building out the area, and in terms of zoning, to be honest, I just go with the demand of what we have in the city, and demand has been pretty slow. So what I ended up doing here is I did go off camera just because I had to let the game kind of run for some time for the different demands to pop up. So I did go off camera and just let the game run for a bit. So we will be back soon with almost half of the area fully built out. And I am sorry that I had to go off camera, but it will probably take a few hours for the area to be fully built out. Even though I went off camera, the area is still not fully developed. But what I did do that kind of helped with the demand was I went in and just added in more services again, more schools, more hospitals, more clinics, and also a lot more parks and just leisure areas. I feel like that also helped with the demand of the city uh, rising. Alright, guys, we left in April and now we are back in August. So, after 4 months, most of the waterfront is developed, and I do play the game with the night mode off. But here I just turned it on, and it was early in the morning with the sunrise. I thought the city was looking extra beautiful today. Now we also expanded a bit east with some single family homes, and I went with the waterfront properties, which look pretty nice. And for the middle section here, we went with a lot of European style townhomes. And then towards the west side, we went with more offices and higher density buildings. And you see the boardwalk here, we have people walking on them. It is pretty early in the morning, but they must be early risers. Now, for this walkway that we have here, I went with these Chinese gates. I just wanted something different. I'm not sure if I like them that much, but I do believe they attract people to the area, and that is a plus. I was looking for that. Now, also here, I put in the barracks building. I believe it's a mix of restaurants, exhibitions, and office spaces, and I thought it would be a nice place to have by the waterfront. Again, just to help with the utilization of the waterfront and all the walkways that we built, because I do want people to kind of come and visit the area too, even if they don't live here. I put this signature commercial building here. It's called Horizon Lounge, and it's some sort of a music venue, but it's been complaining of not enough customers for some time now, and I will end up moving it around just to see if it changes the fact that it doesn't have customers, but it still has that sign above it, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, because to be honest, the sign does piss me off when it's just like sitting there constantly. And this is just a close-up view of our tram going through this area. Now again, the trams aren't necessarily packed with people, but that makes sense because the area is not that dense in terms of density, so it would be expected to be kind of empty. But once you do zoom in, there are quite a lot of people going in. Maybe not as busy as the bus stops we have, but it's alright for now, and we're gonna keep adding density, so hopefully that will help with the utilization of the line. I also went in and expanded into the suburbs a bit. It's pretty close to the area we had built in the previous episode, and we went in with some European waterfront properties. Nothing too special and not that large of an area either. Alright, so this is where things get kinda random. I did put this pedestrian street in the middle here, and then I thought I could just put some very small single family homes on either side. Now, this street is only accessible by foot, and some emergency vehicles. And honestly, I'm pretty sure this isn't everyone's cup of tea, and not many people would be interested to live here. But I'm sure some people would be more than happy to live here. They do have pretty good transit close by, so they can appreciate that. And I thought it would just be something different in the middle of this area. Who knows, maybe these houses were here before the whole waterfront was developed, and they just kind of had to work around them. But I did stick to smaller size lots, and I do appreciate that. And we just saw a police car running through the middle, so if they have to bring a car in, I'm sure it wouldn't be a problem. They just don't have any parking, I guess. Alright, so here I am going in with a lot of trees all around the single family homes that we have in the middle there. And that was kind of my plan from the beginning. I wanted this center area between where the trams run to be filled with trees. I kind of went back and forth with the idea because when I saw that the trams weren't being used, I thought the area needs some sort of density. So I did kind of compromise on the idea a bit, but I still wanted to keep it for this middle part, and that is what I'm doing here. So once they kind of grow out, it's going to be a very beautiful area. Now, coming over to this main street that meets the waterfront, I kept the sides kind of open because I wanted to go in with some sort of a pedestrian bridge that leads to the waterfront. And oh my god, this is not going to be pretty, me trying to build this thing, so skip forward if you want to. It was just like trying to get the similar heights and angles right. It was kind of difficult. And we ended up with something kind of nice. Not the best, but kind of nice. I don't know. I ended up connecting the two different bridges together, but the connection, no matter what I did, there's this kind of slant to it, which I wasn't a big fan of, but there was nothing else I could do. And I also just lower the bridges and create these little paths onto the boardwalk. I just wanted kind of like a statement since we are right by the water. Now, how successful this statement is, I'm not sure. Maybe we'll go in and change it later on, but I think it'll do for now. Um, and I tried to see if people were using it. Not many people were. There were just like one or two, but I don't know. It's still there, so if they do want to use it, they can go ahead and do it. Yeah, this is the connection I was talking about, and there was just this little angle slope to it, which wouldn't go away. So whatever, it'll have to do for now. Now this is a pretty nice area, so I went into the signature residential buildings and put the Rockstar Mansion here. This is a pretty nice house, to be honest, and the location is just great, right by the water. So this guy is pretty lucky living here. They have great access to the waterfront. The boardwalk just starts right there, very close to their house. Now, I do wish there were more people using the boardwalk that we made, but once you come towards the more residential area, there's barely anyone on it. We just have this like one guy randomly walking here, but I don't know, if I lived here, I'll be walking on this boardwalk every day, to be honest, because I think it's pretty nice. Now, also one thing to note is I know I've been calling this pathway, this walkway, or whatever, a boardwalk. I know it's not necessarily a boardwalk, but it is by the water, and some waterfronts have boardwalks, so that's why I've just been calling it a boardwalk. But you can call it whatever you want: a walkway, a pathway, a pedestrian walkway, I don't know. So on this street that the tram goes on, I went in with high density offices, but I did keep the tile sizes pretty small, 2 by 2. I thought it would just be a nice contrast to the trees we have right there in the front and the water to the back. And also, we have the transit, right? So why not add some density? And I do think it looks kind of cool. But we can always go ahead and remove stuff we don't like once the area is fully built. But that is still going to take some more time just because we don't have the demand for it. I've been zoning these areas, but they just don't get built. So we kind of got to go with the flow and play it out. Alright, let's go kind of sneak into this guy's house and see what he's up to. That is a pretty nice backyard. And just having the water right behind it, that's just the cherry on top. Honestly beautiful. That guy's living life. Now, all that said, we are going to wrap this episode up. I do hope you've enjoyed our waterfront development. Please let me know how you feel about it, and I do want to thank you if you've made it this far into the video. Stay tuned, we're going to continue building this city out, and leave me a comment on what you like to see, what you want me to do differently, both in terms of how I record the game and how I play it. And that is pretty much it. Thanks again, and all the best.